Hello, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Level Up with Gal. I'm your host, no other than Gal Pereno. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so freaking much. It means the world to me. And today is Thanksgiving, so I wanted to do a special episode today just for you. Happy Thanksgiving to you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, the ones that are with us still, the ones that are not with us anymore, that we can fill our heart and soul with so much love, how much we have learned from the ones that have left this world, this dimension, but are always with us and close to our near dear heart. And the awesome thing is they're always coming through in things that we may not even notice unless we're paying attention. So today I want to dive in with you and talk about why it's so important to appreciate where we're at, why it's so important to be grateful for all our lessons, the good, the bad, the in between, the moments that we would really, really love to not go through, the moments where we're like, I'm really done with this chapter right now. Universe, God, Buddha, whatever it is that you believe in. Maybe you believe in all of it. It doesn't matter. What matters is the lessons that happens in your life, and to slow down for a minute and appreciate all those lessons. Appreciate everything you have right now. If we take a moment and we reflect in our life and appreciate the roof over our head, being able to hear and listen to this episode right now, or if you're watching it, being able to watch it, being able to have eyesight, right? There are people in the world who are losing their vision every single day. There are people who are losing their hearing little by little, or maybe they were born where they couldn't even hear, or they were born where they couldn't see, or you can't see fully. You know what I mean? Or you can't use all your body parts. Maybe you can't move your body like the same way. Being grateful to be able to move your body, go for a walk, do what you want to do in the way that you want. Being grateful to be able to complain and say what you want to say and do what you want, right? That doesn't mean you shouldn't watch what you say and be mindful of people's feelings, obviously. But the point right now is be grateful that you can do so much. And I get it. There's probably so much you want to do. There's so much I want to do. For example, I have lots of goals. I've had lots and lots of goals, and I still have a lot of goals that I want to meet personally, in my own personal life, my career, in my relationships, my friendships, and improving my relationships with a lot of people, my family, my significant other, friends, new friends. You know what I mean? Like, can you relate to that? Where you're like, I really want to improve my relationships and I want to do better and do more. And I want to level up at work. Maybe you want another position or the next position or a new position. Or maybe you want to push yourself out of your comfort zone and get to know more people. Or put yourself into different groups. How about that, right? I had to think about that for a second. When I mean different groups, like groups that you would not normally allow yourself to because it makes you uncomfortable. Maybe certain personalities that you don't want to be around because you're not sure how to interact with them. Or maybe some of those personalities triggered the crap out of you and you're like, no, I prefer not to be around those kind of people because it reminds me of my ex, or reminds me of my dad, or that person's, personality or tendencies reminds me of an old boss that I can't stand. Oh my gosh. But if any of those feelings creep up, I would challenge you to kind of lean in a little bit more into that and see why. Why is that coming up for you? Or maybe you still need some healing from that old boss that maybe wasn't the best boss, or maybe you thought they were a good boss and turned out to not be the very best boss. And that is an example in my own life. I've had some great bosses and had some not so great bosses, but in every single lesson that's happened, I've learned a lot about different kind of people, a lot about the kind of boss I would like to be myself, the kind of boss I would like to have, and why that matters so much. Because sometimes, actually not even sometimes, let's take that word out. When we haven't had a lot of experience and we only know what we know, we think it's good, right? Like we think working in this job is great. Until you get another one, then you get treated better, or your value, and you're like, oh my God, this is so much better. Or you're in a relationship. You're like, this relationship is wonderful. And then you get into a new one, and you're like, oh my God, this relationship is so much better. That old one was like totally garbage, right? And we don't know what we don't know. So it's super important to not beat ourselves up, but it's also super important to know what is it that we want and what is it that we do like? How do we like to be treated? Most of us like to be valued, right? Is that an important factor to you in your career and where you work? For some people, it's like, doesn't matter. It's a paycheck. I do my job and that's it. And I'm good. And I go home and no worries, right? But for me, it's deeper than that. It's not just doing my job and that's it, I go home. For me, it's making an impact, connecting with people, connecting and helping people, because I know what it feels like to be on the other side, to want help so badly and not get it, and then have to just figure it out by yourself again and again and again. And it's very interesting in my career that has been a routine. I don't want to say routine, but it's been a pattern. And even growing up in my own personal life, it was like, you want something, you got to work so hard and good luck figuring it out, and you just got to figure it out. But it's so funny that once we break our patterns, right, we start to see what our patterns are, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So when you start to see what your patterns are, you start to realize like, oh my gosh, this keeps happening in my life because it's literally what I'm putting out there in the universe, and the pattern keeps happening. In my own personal life, that was a pattern. In multiple jobs I've had, that was the pattern. But the lesson there between whether I love all those bosses or not, there's so many good lessons there that has taught me what it means to be a good boss and what it feels like to have a good boss, right? It's so important to go through those hard moments and appreciate that so deeply, because when you get through it and you change your pattern, you change your way of thinking, you change your perspective, your mindset, boom, everything changes, and it just sits so well. It's like, it makes me think of like a little kid playing with, the little like square box toy, and they're trying to put the triangle in the box and trying to put the square in the square, but then they're putting it in the triangle. But when you find something that fits, literally you find the right piece and it just slides right in. It's just like any member relationships, right? When it works, and it just feels right. It's easy. It shouldn't have to feel like it's so much work. It shouldn't have to feel like you're pulling teeth all the time to spend time with each other, to get along, to understand each other. You know what I mean? And that example is coming up for me because that is like a real life example with the career and the job and even relationships. I've been in relationships where I'm like, gosh, why is this so difficult? It should be easier than this. And then I met my husband and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so ezy. When's the shoe gonna drop, right? Like, what's gonna go wrong? But it has not. So if we keep thinking something's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong. And if we keep thinking that we're gonna keep having a hard time in our life, and in everything that we do, and we got to work super duper hard to be appreciated. Why am I having a hard time saying that? But then we start to create this pattern, and the energy that we're putting out and the energy that we are receiving is that literally that. You're going to keep having a hard time. You're going to keep having a hard time. And that's literally what I experienced for years and years and years. Like, why is I work so hard, and why is it so hard to get a thank you? Why is it so hard to get I appreciate you, right? And I was at a job one time in part of my life. No need to say where or anything like that. That is not the point. The point is like where I would get more money and I would get more money. And more money is great. Trust and believe. I get it, right? I do, because we need that to survive and, to buy stuff and feed ourselves and stuff as a human. We need that. But so much more goes in saying, thank you, I appreciate you, thank you for your hard work, or where can I help you? But really actually follow through and help somebody. Because so many times I've heard, I'll help you. And it's like, okay, I need help with this. And then it's like, I don't actually know how to do that. And then it's also like, I don't have time to do that, but I appreciate you. So do you though? Right? It's like, do you really? Because if you really wanted to help, then you actually would follow through and help. The point of this story that I'm sharing is, when you volunteer to help somebody, follow through on it and truly mean it, because you lose that trust. You start to lower that trust level with that person or people or group or whoever it is, because you keep dropping the freaking ball. You know how it is when you have friends or a certain friend, and you're like, you make plans and they never follow through. Guess what happens? You stop making plans with them because you're like, they're not going to follow through, and it's freaking annoying, right? Exactly. So that was a long story, but long story short, I just want to say, appreciate all the ups and downs in your life, whether it's career, personal, anything like that's happening. All of our journey is very, very unique. And that's the coolest part. And that's the coolest thing. So let's embrace that. Let's not compare to other people. Like, oh, I wish I looked like that person, or I wish I had that, or wish I had this. You can wish to have a ton of stuff, but make sure whatever you're wishing for and that you're putting out there in the universe, and that energy that you're looking to attract and get, that it's what you want, not what someone else's want, not what someone else influenced you to think that you should have. You know what I mean? Like so many times in my life, I'm like, oh, I want, to look like that person. That person's beautiful. I want to do that because I want that experience like that person. But you know what's so funny about that is that even if you do the exact identical thing as somebody else, your experience is still going to be different. You know why? Because your life experiences are different. The way you grew up, the way you see the world is through your own lens, not through someone else's lens. So it's going to be different no matter. Actually, I'm going to use this example. Years ago, my husband and I decided that we were going to do the same exact diet, the same exact workouts, right? Just as obviously to motivate each other too, to stay in shape and everything. But on top of that, we wanted to see what the experience would be like for each other, like separately together. And guess what? It was completely different. Our perspective on the workouts was totally different. Even though we ate exactly the same thing, our progress was totally different. Obviously, our bodies are also different, right? And the point of this story is you're different. Every single one of us is unique and different in our own freaking way. Let's embrace that. Let's not take that away from ourselves. Let's appreciate our different journey. Let's appreciate how far we come and all the good stuff, right? Yes, we talked about a lot of stuff that let's appreciate all the lessons, right? But let's also appreciate and be grateful for all the good, juicy stuff that's happened in our lives. Like getting that new car. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Or meeting someone and you just bond, right? So a few weeks ago, I went and met up with a friend, a dear, dear friend to my heart. We met 3 years ago. And we never actually met in person. We met through a coaching program that we went through together, which what a blessing. And we stayed friends since. And, I really truly believe that our lives and our paths cross with certain individuals for a reason. So we work for certain companies for a reason. Certain things come up, certain decisions we make for a reason, and all ties to a greater purpose, even if we don't know what that purpose is at the moment. But it was such a blessing to be able to connect with this friend. And, we've always connected from the beginning. I just remember being in a Zoom breakout room and I'm like, something about this chick. Like, we are going to be friends. I don't know why and I don't know how I know this, but we are going to be friends. And we are still friends today. And to be able to meet miles and miles apart, like we literally live 2 different countries, miles apart, grew up so different life experiences, different perspective, different mindsets, so much is different. And being friends with her has taught me that, you know what, the little moments in life matters the most. Having the most things is not the most important thing. Having the most expensive car or biggest house or this and that is not the most important thing. I'm not saying that that's what I thought was the most important thing, but I used to really think that if I had more, it's better. I'm going to be happy. But the truth was, deep down, it was more like I wanted more and more and more and more because I was suffering deep down inside. There was a lot of trauma and I would try to mask it and cover it with buying more stuff to make me happy, thinking if I had, more accessories, more jewelry, more clothes, more this and more that, and that it would make me happy and happier. But the truth is it didn't. It was just Band-Aids, right? Think of it like a wound and you put the Band-Aid on. And if you don't take care of it and you don't keep putting in the cream on, and unfortunately I think of it as like Neosport. And this reminds me of being like a kid, you're scraping yourself and you put Neosport on. But if you don't take care of your wound, you just keep putting a Band-Aid over it again and again and again and again, it's not going to fully heal. So that was something I had to learn to work through, that, oh my gosh, I don't need all this stuff. Do I want stuff? Absolutely, right? Don't we all? But do I truly need a bunch of stuff? No, I don't. And I want you to realize that in your life too, that you don't need a bunch of stuff to be happy. You don't need a bunch of validations from other people to know that you are good enough, that you are worthy, and that you are right where you're supposed to be, even if it doesn't feel like it right now in this moment. Take a moment today and appreciate yourself. It's so much easier for us to be like, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing this for me and that for me. Oh my gosh, right? And sometimes I start to feel like we just give thank yous out like it's just so simple and just free. Here you go, right? It's like you get a thank you, you get a thank you, right? But let's really, really spend some time to appreciate ourselves and our own journey. Because when we can do that internally and for us, we can do that so much easier for other people. A lot of people that I've talked to or like, I just want to love myself more. I get it. Me too. I've been there many, many times. And we think that we need that validation from other people to love ourselves more. We think that we are worthy and we're good enough when we get it from other people. But the truth is, I'm going to give you a tip. The truth is, it starts within you. Truly starts with you. The way you feel about yourself is the energy that you give off and the energy that you receive back. Every single person that you talk to, every single person that comes into your life is a mirror and a reflection of you. If you don't love yourself, if you don't give yourself credit, if you don't appreciate your own journey, super important to give yourself that love and the validation that you seek so deeply from others today and every single day. I would challenge you to give yourself 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes to truly give yourself kudos and credit and appreciate everything around you. Take a moment, like appreciate the roof over your head, appreciate the clothes on your back. Like I am wearing a hoodie that has my dog's face on it that I love so much. I appreciate the people that got it for me, my brother and brother-in-law. Like I love this. They know me. There was thought that was put into this, and I appreciate so much. Literally, the sleeve says like Gal Heart Roop. Like if you know me, you know I love my dog and this means so much to me, right? So appreciate the people who value you and appreciate you. Spend time with people that light you up. Stop spending time with people who you don't want to spend time with. So know that every single day is a blessing. The good days, the bad days. And I know it. When you hear that sometimes it's like, oh, but today's a really crappy day. So how can I see that it's a blessing? You know, if it's such a blessing to be alive, then why are things falling into place? It's not falling into place yet because you keep thinking it's not, or you're not taking the right action to help things fall into place for you. So take a moment. Look at your life. Am I taking the right actions for those blessings to come near me? Am I actually ready? I keep asking for all this good, but am I actually ready to accept all that good? Sometimes we want and want and want, right? And then we get what we want, and then we're like, I don't know if I want this. And then we don't even appreciate getting what we want so deeply because we already want the next thing. So let's take a moment today, write down at least 5 things that you really appreciate in your life and you're grateful for. So I'll go first. Number 1, I appreciate you for listening, tuning in, watching, helping yourself level up. It means the world to me to be able to give and to help people. I share my experiences to help you with your experiences, but also realize that you are not alone. We all go through ups and downs. We're all human. Coach, psychic, medium, mentor, whatever you want to call yourself, teacher. We all are human going through a lot of ups and downs. Number 2, appreciate my journey. I'm so grateful for how much I have learned down this self-development journey of the last 7 years. I've learned so much, and watching old videos of myself to compare to me today is like, holy crap. So do the same. Look at, if you don't have old videos, look at just photos and remember those moments and things you've been through, how much you've changed. Number 3, I appreciate the people in my life so deeply, my family, my husband, my coworkers, and it's just, life has truly been an adventure. And I'll put it that way in real simple terms, that certain people will stick by your side and certain people are not meant to be there. And it's okay to learn to let those go. Number 4, my new adventure, so being able to do what I want to do and give and give and give and do my own business, but to be able to branch out and do something else. And one of my friends was like, I love your new gig. So I love that she said it like that, because truly I've been blessed with the opportunity this year to be able to impact other people's lives, to work with amazing, amazing people. And I love it so much. And I'm so freaking grateful that they found me and I found them and we're working together. And I'll just keep it short and leave it at that. But find people to work with that give you that same kind of energy. Like, oh my gosh, it just feels so good and you can't wait to do what you do. And number 5, I am so appreciative of this last year. It's taught me so much in my life, and all the ups and downs, the mental breakdown, the who am I, what do I want to do, the confusion, all that. I appreciate it, even though it's been really, it's been tough in certain moments, but at the same time, now getting through those moments, I realized why I had to go through all that. So it's so freaking important. Can't stress enough to be grateful for where you're at and appreciate yourself and the people that matter to you today, especially when you spend time with your family, or maybe just spending time with just you. Know that you're right where you're supposed to be truly, and appreciate the journey, embrace the journey and the ups and the downs. I truly can't say that enough. You're so valuable. You're so important where you're at. If you're looking for, let's say, a job that you really want so badly, keep looking. The right one will come. Trust and believe. I have applied for gosh, in my past, I don't know, I went through a period where I applied for like 100 jobs and then got like 6 interviews and then got like 4 job offers, and then the first like 2 I did not want. And I'm sure that because that's behind the scenes, that's the stuff that people don't share. Like the struggle can be so freaking real sometimes. You just don't know what someone is going through, and doesn't mean it's always gonna be like that. But I've also had experiences where I applied for 2 and then it's like, oh wait, I got both. I got both offers. Or you apply for 1 and you get it. Don't give up. Just keep trying, whatever it is that you want to do. And nothing is forever. If you hate something and it doesn't light you up, you can quit. You can leave. If you start your own business and you don't want to do it anymore, you can stop. If you want to go part-time and do something else too, or do something per diem or contract work on top of what you do it too. There's so many things you can do, and do whatever it is that you want. Who says that you can't do a bunch of stuff, right? You can. Just like hobbies. Do as much as you want, whatever it is. So I love you and I appreciate you so much for tuning in. And I'm wishing you a very, very, very happy Thanksgiving. Show up for yourself today, every single day. Go for a quick walk. Find something that you enjoy. Spend 2 minutes just appreciating yourself and your journey, where you're at. So freaking important. I love you. Take care. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. I'm here to help you on your journey to level up. If you want to know more or you want to get in touch and learn how you can work one-on-one with me, check out my website, galperino.com. I appreciate you so much. Please share this with your friends, your family, anyone new that you meet that you might could find this episode helpful. I love you and take care, and I'll catch you next time.